The dark depths of the ocean have always been a reason why everyone is so curious about knowing its life forms. Just when we think that we have known enough, there is another organism resurfacing itself to show us that there is so much more to master about marine life. Is your imagination of the ocean limited to seahorses and small fish-like creatures? Are you still of the belief that the coldest regions of the earth have no life? Or do you still want to trust the old books which say that freezing Arctic doesn't have anything lively enough? Stay here for today. At Space Getaway, we would be breaking all these shackles of preconceived notions and getting to know what Elon Musk reveals about the Navy Arctic dive. Since our childhood days of gaining knowledge and learning the working of the world, we are told just one thing, that the watery depths below the Arctic and the Antarctic ice shelves are freezingly cold and lack the needful nutrients to sustain life of any kind. Thinking of these dark blue-green oceanic waters, the only thing that we could ever think of was the never-ending depth of the never-ending marine ecosystem. However, Elon Musk has called this notion into question for current researchers. Elon has revealed a new study that exposes the discovery of a colony of animals on the seafloor of such glacial habitats. These animals, according to the normal knowledge, should not be living, and in fact aren't supposed to be present anywhere near such numbing cold. However, we have finally got a hold of these, and scientists have caught them on record. The United States has always been the pioneer in the fields of science, technology, and research, being the first nation to develop a submarine that reached the North Pole during 1958. Thanks to this expedition, the human race has reached these inaccessible habitats and posed a ground to research on. These expeditions, led by US and UK governments, helped to pit a scientific milestone that paved a new era of exploration and discovery about the untouched environment beneath the Arctic ice. It served as a test bed for the military potential of the Navy, but more to our interests, gave us the knowledge about the unknown. Without delaying any further, let us dive deep into the ocean, as well as the curiosity that we have all dealt with since childhood. James Smith of the British Antarctic Survey and his colleague, Hugh Griffiths, took upon themselves a mission to reveal a treasure mine of strange and amazing anomalies beneath the ice. They spent hours melting 20 tons of snow to produce 20,000 liters of hot water, which was poured through a pipe lowered down a borehole to reach the deep seas. 20 hours of chipping off the ice finally led their way through the thick sheets of ice, through which they lowered a GoPro camera and a device to collect the deposit from the ocean roof. As adventurous as it may sound, great scientific explorations do not always have successful results, and so was the case for the survey team. The collector was sent thousands of feet below the ice sheet and came back with absolutely nothing. They tried to give it another shot, but had the same disheartening result the second time as well. However, in the evening, when Smith examined the video in his tent, he noticed a very obvious issue: the change in color of the surroundings as the camera went deep into the sheets. The blue-green ice caps abruptly ended with presenting the deep ocean, making way for a light-colored silt that was unknown to his knowledge of the sea. What was this unknown? How was it going to change the prior scientific theories of the ice sheets? Was it just something or absolutely nothing? Space Getaway got your back to tell you everything that came out of this moment of new finding. Going about 1,600 feet deeper into the waters, a mysterious object was seen that turned out to be a boulder in the center of the seafloor. This rock exposed something completely unrelated to what the scientists were looking for. In an actual sense, it was something implausible. They found life. There was only one large boulder in the center of the mostly leveled seafloor. It was not that Smith had chosen the wrong spot to drill, but in reality, there was no such accumulation of debris on the ocean floor. On much examination of the boulder by the biologist Hugh Griffith, they witnessed a layer of microorganisms called a microbial mat. While sturdier cylindrical sponges gripped the surface, a sponge that looked like an alien and other stalking animals hung from the rock. Feathery filaments that may have been part of the bacterial mats or even the strange hydroid animal looked like they had been sprinkled above the rock. This boulder was 160 miles beneath the ice shelf that closes down to give rise to the ocean waters. Smith had now found a possible food source for these microbial outgrowths that were hundreds of miles away from each other. These creatures lived thousands of feet below the level of the ice sheet. Sunlight did not reach such great depths, and thus it was difficult for them to thrive and form such colonies. But here they were, thriving and living as an independent species. Probably they too would be living just fed by the curiosity that has been keeping us all alive to know more about these alien-like creatures. Speaking of which, do not forget to like this video and become an absolute admirer of the unknown realm, and share and subscribe to our channel Space Getaway, which takes you away into a world that is yet to be explored. The scientists had many questions. What do these organisms consume? For how long have they been here? How frequent is the existence of such microbial matted boulders? And most importantly, are these the same species that we observe outside of the ice shelf, or are they a different species? All these questions needed to be answered because of the unusual setting of these organisms. What makes these living species so different is not the darkness in which they live, because many other species have been doing the same for ages. However, such species live near a constant source of food, which was very unlikely for these alien-like mysterious beings. One possibility that could quench this curiosity was the presence of marine snow. Every living thing that is currently swimming in the water column above the seafloor will eventually pass away and sink to the bottom of the ocean. Other animals pick at the bodies as they fall and begin to decay and spit off fragments. Tiny bits that gather even on the deepest sea floors come under this category of marine snow. But what needs to be noticed here is that the water beings inhabiting this rock do not reside near any busy water column that might bring such fallen-out debris of decayed matter to them. These beings live in complete seclusion and have no water current around them. What is worst about these creatures is that they are glued to a spot that doesn't have much food and are very isolated within their form. The food source that we have been talking about moves horizontally much above the level of the seafloor where they reside. These sources cannot move vertically, so the question arises, how are they reaching these microbial mats if they are the primary food source? The food source isn't the only question that has pestered the minds of scientists. The very existence of such organisms is uncertain in the present scenario. Some scientists believe that these boulders traveled from kilometers away and thus carried the parents of these organisms. However, some are also of the belief that maybe they existed somewhere else, and their sperm and eggs traveled so far away into the ocean. The burial of these mats isn't a problem to be concerned about, as it doesn't seem like the sedimentation around the surrounding rock is that heavy. After much deliberation of ideas and possibilities, Elon Musk and other researchers are still unable to determine whether this rock is an anomaly of nature or if there are such ecosystems beneath the ice spread vastly across the sea floor. On one side, where the human race is still on the expiation to find new and newer species, the threat of their extinction before their discovery is still a rising concern. Are we making sure that these yet-to-be-discovered species are safe in the darker part of the world? Or global warming would be emerging as a threat to the known as well as the unknown? If these species do exist, how are they managing to thrive? And are there any more secrets to be unraveled? Everything is yet to be found out. If you want to see more of such unknown realms, living beings, and the world beneath the ice caps related content, make sure to click on the video on your left. Before we bid adieu, do not forget to like the video and share it with your fellow enthusiasts of the undiscovered. Subscribe to the Space Getaway to see more of the unexplored world, and make sure you press the notification bell icon to stay updated on everything that is yet to be found out.